Hi. How are you? So yesterday, I stayed up really late. I guess I could probably talk a little bit about that. I made it to 1 p.m., by the way. I made it to 1 p.m., and then my body was like, you die now, and I completely crashed. And I was actually... I decided to lay down in the beanbag instead of like laying down in bed, and I don't really remember why, but I chose the beanbag because I was like, oh, I haven't actually like slept in the beanbag. I want to try that. So I laid down in the beanbag, and I fell asleep until whenever Mao got me up. When did you get me up? Like 4?
Yeah, about 4.
So like at 4 o'clock, Mao woke me up and was like, why don't you sleep in the bed? So then I went into the bed and I slept until 9. So I slept from 1 until 9. And then I woke up and things have been fine. So it's still a late night, but I'm going to be getting in bed a little earlier, so things are starting to fix themselves, which is good. But in yesterday's vlog, I showed off that we got a new printer. And we actually haven't had a chance to use it yet, but that's what we're going to try and do today. All we've done is take it out of the box and sit it up there. This is the Canon PRO-100 printer. It is huge. If it looks big, that's because it is big. For scale, here is... There's the Wii U gamepad. It's a big stinking printer. It's one of the biggest printers I've ever seen, at least like a home printer. This thing is generally pretty expensive, but there was this one seller on Amazon that was selling them for like half the price. And I had looked at a different printer completely because I was like, well, this one looks nice, but it's way too expensive, so we're going to get this other thing. And after I found this other seller, I was looking at the reviews and people were like, I don't know why this is so cheap. Buy it. It was fine. I don't know what's going on. There was a ton of them. So I got it. So we actually got this for like half of MSRP, which is mind-blowing, but that's really cool. The reason I decided to go for this one is because, for one, yes, we're trying to print high-quality covers for the game cases, which are these things, and there is... a pretty practical purpose in that. Besides looking pretty, we want to put all the games in game cases because eventually we want to do Twitch streaming. We want people to be able to see the background, and whenever we play a different game, we want to be able to go and pick it out and show visually on screen the games, and I think that's a really big thing. The other reason that we decided to go for this thing, besides the fact that it was really cheap, is the fact that this should be able to actually do prints for Mao. Mao has been doing prints through another company, but she should be able to, in theory, print high-quality stuff to the point where if she needed something, she could either completely do it herself and start selling prints herself if she wanted to, or she could just use it as a backup method. Or if maybe she went to a convention or something and wanted to sell her prints there, she could print her stuff at home. So it's pretty useful. Anyway, so all we've done is sit it here. And the reviews on the printer are good, so I know it's a good printer, but we have to set it up. How do we do that? So the instructions are under the cat. You know he's been laying here for...
Mm-hmm.
Buddy, you're very sweet. Can I get you to just... He's like, no, I think I'll stay. Here, you can be up here. That's fine. Is this it?
There's 2. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so the printer is wireless, which, most printers probably in the last 10 years have been, but our last printer wasn't, and we had to run a USB cable. This one will be connected on its own and will be doing wireless, but in order to set it up, you have to use a WPS button, which I'm sure our router has, but I've never used it. Alright, so apparently we hold this, and then that starts flashing, and then we go over to the router, which I hide back here, and we hold the button on this for a few seconds, and then supposedly they're connecting without any sort of setup. WPS has been around for a long time, but I feel like I may have done it one time, a long time ago, and not with this router. Wait, is it done? Did we do it? That's the problem with not having a screen, is that there's no confirmation that you did anything. That was really easy. I just opened up the printer pane from System Preferences, and it's right there. Canon PRO-100. Okay, so with AirPrint, there's AirPrint and PRO-100 series. Maybe they're different things. I'm not exactly sure how this works. I'm just going to hit add. Setting up Canon PRO-100 series. Wow. If that's actually how that works, it's really easy. There it is. That's the printer. Okay. So I guess now I can print to it. Alright, so we got this pulled up, and I was reading online about people that said that there was all these crazy settings and stuff you could play with. I think you have to use like the actual Canon printing app. We're just going to print out of Photoshop and see what happens. We changed all the quality stuff to like best and photo, and we'll see what happens. Now Mal's got something to compare to. That's one of the prints that she's had from a different company. The only difference is that's glossy paper, and we're using this little sample pack that they gave us, which is luster. It's not quite the same. But it might be a good way to just kind of look at the difference. I have some glossy paper that I've bought, but it is legal-sized paper, so it's huge, because that's what you need for those. But we're going to at least give this a shot. This will be the first thing we print. All right, Mal. It's going in. It's doing its thing. It may take a little bit of time. All right. Well then. That looks pretty good. It's not glossy, but it still looks pretty good. I think it would look better glossy. But that looks, I'd say that looks pretty good, Mel.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, you're the one that's...
looks good.
What's it like seeing it in satin instead of glossy for the first time?
I don't know. I kind of like the satin.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the colors look better in glossy.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the texture of the satin.
One of the cool things about this printer, and a feature that I'm not particularly interested in, but we might use at some point, is that it is large format. It'll actually print up to 13 by 19 inches, which is huge. At that point, you're looking at, I mean, really a small poster. It's cool. It's a cool printer. I'm like super stoked about the printer because we got it for so cheap, and the printer works. I mean, it arrived new. Everything about it was new. Don't know why it was so cheap, but I'm satisfied with it. So we printed a print, and it came out really good. So now I'm going to print. I'm going to print one of the covers. We don't have the cover for Bad Fur Day, so I went on to thecoverproject.net and got it. I got it in here as Photo Best. I have currently the color handling, letting the printer manage the color, but at some point I'll test letting Photoshop handle the color and see what happens.
Do you have the right size?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
this paper, I looked around for a long time to find this paper because I wanted glossy legal paper, which is hard to come by. See, normal 8.5 by 11 paper is not the right size to fit cases. So you need legal size paper, which is 8.5, but instead of 11, it's 14 inches, so it's pretty long. And I finally came across a place on Amazon that did it, and I was like, woo! And I actually read the reviews, and there were a bunch of people in the reviews that were like, I use this for game covers, and I was like, my people are here! So we're going to give this a shot, and I'm expecting, you know, probably pretty good results. So that looks good. What do you think, Mal?
that looks good.
Certainly looks better than the stuff I was printing before. Paper, man. Paper makes all the difference. You don't have to buy a crazy expensive printer just to get really good results. Like, if you use glossy paper, it's amazing how much better it looks. You also have to have an inkjet printer. I think lasers are getting to the point where they can look better, but you have to have an inkjet printer because then it adheres to the paper better. But this is nice. Now, apparently, I'm supposed to let this dry for like a day before I chop it out and put it into a case, and that's fine. But I'll do that, and then I'll get a chance to see what it looks like on the shelf, and I'm really satisfied. Yeah, that's our first print. Well, not our first print, but the first game case print. So that's exciting. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Probably what we'll do now that we have everything for it is we'll just probably print like one case a day, and then if I continue to do that, eventually we'll have everything cased, and that'll be good. I'll just print one different thing. I'm really interested to figure out what the supply levels are like in this thing, like how many things we can print before it's like, you need to spend a lot of money again. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll monitor it and report back to the vlog if anything interesting happens. Anyway, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?